Hello, 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 friends. Happy Friday, and welcome back to another episode of Elaborations with E. I'm Eva, and on this podcast, we discuss spiritual topics with grounded practicality to help you apply all of the amazing principles, tips, tricks, and techniques to manifesting your best life and your best self while simultaneously navigating your current reality. I hope that you are having a wonderful start to your Friday and you are looking forward to your weekend ahead. And wherever you find yourself, I want you to go ahead and take a quick deep breath with me. Let's breathe in and breathe out. Unclench your jaw, roll your shoulders back and down, maybe stretch your neck a little bit, and let's settle into today's conversation. And before we go any further, feel free to grab your favorite notepad and your favorite pen so that you can maybe take some notes if you would like. Because today we are diving deep into a topic that is everywhere in the personal growth and spiritual space. And that topic is the idea of the self concept. If you have spent even 5 minutes on social media lately, especially if you are already looking at manifestation content and self help content and spiritual growth, you have most likely seen people talking about self concept like it is just a checklist of quick mental hacks. Just repeat, I am rich 50 times in the mirror. Or just tell yourself you're irresistible and everything will fall into place. Or, especially for those manifesting a specific person, just affirm 50 times that your SP is constantly calling and texting you, and you're the love of their life, and they are so obsessed with you, right? And in the spirit of practicality, we are going to keep things completely grounded around here today. Because I want you to understand that self concept is so much deeper than a few surface level thoughts or forced positive affirmations. And most especially those forced affirmations. Because if you have to force something, it's not coming from you, it's coming from what you've been told to desire, okay? And we'll get into that a little bit later. But let's really define what the self concept is. Because your self concept isn't just what you think about yourself when you are actively working to manifest something, it is your overall baseline state of being. It shows up in how you carry yourself when you walk into a room and how you exit that room. It shows up in how you react when someone crosses your boundaries. It shows up in how you talk to yourself when you make a mistake, such as dropping a glass or failing on a project at work. And it shows up in what you genuinely believe you deserve when no one else is watching. When all of the cameras stop rolling, no one can see you, you're home alone, sitting on your couch thinking about your life. That is where your self concept really comes out to play. Because your self concept is always there. And it is the subconscious blueprint that runs in the background of your life 24/7. So today we're going to strip away all of that internet fluff and we're going to look at what foundational teachers actually taught about this. And we're going to talk practically about how to shift that internal baseline in real time. So let's start with the core philosophy first. To really understand self concept without the modern online noise, it helps to look back at the teachers who treated this stuff like internal science rather than a trick to control external circumstances. So let's start with the most popular teacher, Neville Goddard. If you are in the manifestation space or the law of attraction space or the law of assumption space, you've heard of Neville Goddard, who was writing and lecturing back in the mid 20th century. And in 1952, in his book, The Power of Awareness, he wrote, Change your conception of yourself, and you will automatically change the world in which you live. Now, let's break that down a little bit. He talked a lot about this concept of I am. And I am is your fundamental awareness, that quiet sense of existence inside you, which is the canvas for the rest of your life. Your self concept is the identity that you paint over that canvas. So when people struggle with manifestation, it's usually because they are trying to get a result externally while still operating from an internal identity, usually of lack. And you can't comfortably manifest a stable, loving relationship if your core self concept is something like this: people always leave me. You can't sustain success if your underlying assumption is, I am an imposter who is going to get found out. And people won't like what I'm saying because too many people have already spoken on this stuff before. I'm just a drop in the ocean. I'm not going to do much. Neville's point was simple. You don't manifest what you want, you manifest who you are. You manifest your assumptions. And it's very important that we understand that, because if your assumptions about yourself and your beliefs toward yourself and the way that you treat yourself is a baseline of negativity, it's going to be a lot more challenging for you to switch that narrative and for you to start manifesting from a place of actually believing that you deserve better. Another teacher who put this so clearly was Florence Scovel Shinn in the 1920s. In The Game of Life and How to Play It, she wrote, "No man is your enemy, no man is your friend, but every man is your teacher." Think about that for a second. Because this is what we call the mirror effect. The world around you, especially the people you interact with daily, often reflects your deepest assumptions right back to you. Neville Goddard called it the concept of everyone is you pushed out. And if you walk through life implicitly assuming that people won't respect your time, you'll constantly find yourself in situations where people flake, or where people talk over you, or where people try to control how you spend your time. It's not magic, though. It's subconscious filtering. Your brain always highlights and accepts what matches your internal narrative. Now, why am I citing authors from the 1920s and 50s? Because it is so important to separate real grounded metaphysics from modern predatory scam culture. Because we see a lot of fake people today, and historically we saw fake people like Napoleon Hill. And I will never tell someone to read the book Think and Grow Rich ever again. I've read it, and Napoleon was a con artist, okay? I read it because somebody told me to read it, and I was like, a lot of this shit seems fishy. So I will never recommend it. But if you read it and you gleaned something positive for it, that's fine. But we see a lot of predatory people in these spaces who took subtle psychological and spiritual truths and packaged them into get-rich-quick schemes or manipulative formulas, especially for getting rich or manifesting specific people. But true self-concept work isn't about trying to manipulate something or force the universe to give you a quick win or manipulate a person. True self-concept is strictly about inward self-mastery. It is about auditing what you actually believe about yourself and doing the quiet, unglamorous work to align your real life with those beliefs. And that's going to look different for everybody. But a lot of the time it looks like integrating shadow work into your practice. And shadow work is another concept that was initially popularized by Carl Jung. And we'll be talking about shadow work in another episode. But integrating shadow work and really thinking about what has contributed to your baseline narrative is what is going to help you to get towards this self mastery. Mastering your beliefs, mastering your assumptions, being able to sit with yourself and ask yourself, are these assumptions my own, or is this a narrative that I've been playing out because it was fed to me, it was taught to me, it was ingrained in me? That is what true self concept work is all about. And it can be unglamorous, it can be a challenge, but it can also be very beautiful. Now, I want to ground this in real life for a minute because I've had to do this exact work on myself, especially as a creator. And I've had to rebuild my creator self concept over and over and over again over the past few years. And if I'm being completely honest with you, I have experienced serious imposter syndrome. Life happens to all of us, and I went through major lifestyle changes and unexpected circumstances that kept pulling my time and attention completely away from my creative pursuits. During that time, I found myself internalizing discouragement, some of which came from outside opinions, and a lot of which came from my own internal critic. I had this internal critic that was so discouraging, and I had to sit with that. And I started running on these sneaky subconscious scripts for a while. Maybe I lost my momentum. Who am I to stand up here and talk about spiritual topics when my own life feels messy as fuck? And maybe I'm just not built for this level of consistency. And guess what? My reality started reflecting back those exact beliefs. I felt blocked in my spiritual practices. I felt blocked from being able to practice witchcraft because I am a witch and I do practice. I felt blocked from being able to read tarot intuitively. I felt blocked from even being able to get on the mic, and I just started procrastinating. I pulled back from everything that made me who I was and made me the person that I wanted to be. And the turning point came when I realized that nothing external actually held power over my identity as a creator unless I agreed with it. I'm going to repeat that real quick. Nothing external held power over my identity as a creator unless I agreed with it. So, in short, I was giving away my power to past circumstances, old noise, other people who told me how to believe about myself and what to believe about myself. And I got fed up. But the thing that I didn't do was I didn't try to fix it overnight with forced hype or toxic positivity. And when I felt myself going down that rabbit hole, I had to stop it dead in its tracks. I started making small, grounded adjustments after a while. And I started auditing my belief system. Every time I caught myself thinking, I can't get back into my groove, I'd pause and ask, is that actually true? Or is that just a familiar comfort zone that I have put up around myself now? I started rebuilding routines. I started showing up in small, non-negotiable ways, whether it was setting aside 15 minutes to write or getting back to reading grounded texts and building self-trust through consistency. And I started curating my environment. I began connecting with like-minded individuals and people who weren't interested in staying stagnant, but who actively challenged me to grow and hold myself to higher standards. And I started auditing some of my friendships as well. And I started asking myself, are these friendships going with me through the next phase of my journey? Or are they friendships that are not going to grow with me? And I started really curating this healthier community. And from there, I also started to bring back a lot of my tarot reading tools and witchcraft tools back into my creative space. And I recently updated my altar and I cleaned it off and I polished it and I put all of the things there that I knew I was going to use, and I got intentional about the crystals I was laying out and everything. So I really started to come back to myself. And here's the wild thing about that. and about self-concept. When you fix the core, the rest of your life catches fire in the best way possible. And once I started reclaiming my self concept as a capable, grounded creator who is able to be authentically herself, even if some people are just like, oh my God, she's talking about witchcraft. Yes, I'm talking about witchcraft. I'm not shy. I'm shy, but I'm not that shy. You'll see what I mean. But the confidence started to naturally spill into other areas of my life. And in fact, I'm going to change that little thing that I said about myself. I'm not shy. I'm private when I need to be, and I'm expressive when it matters. Boom. Self-concept change in real time, baby. But when I started to change a lot of these things around being capable and being grounded and having confidence, so many other things changed for me as well. For example, my health and fitness goals. For a long time, my health goals were that I really wanted to lose weight. I really wanted to feel healthier in my body. I really wanted to feel like I could climb the stairs and go on walks without feeling winded, and all of these different things that would attribute to more positive health for me. But everything felt like a chore that I was destined to fail at, because I kept cycling through different things, different diets, different workout plans, different types of activity, different seasonal changes that caused me to not be able to go outside in the damn heat, you know? And while we're currently in the middle of a heat wave, I don't go walking outside, but I do walk at home. I do like different exercises at home. I do Pilates, I do yoga, I do calisthenics. I'm starting with that. I'm looking into getting a gym membership again. Like, I'm coming back to myself, baby. It doesn't matter how, I'm doing it. That's all that really matters, is that I'm persevering, I'm persisting, I'm working on consistency. That's what matters. But once my baseline identity shifted to say that I am someone who honors my commitments to myself, showing up for my workouts and nutrition stopped feeling like a battle, showing up for everything else in my life stopped feeling like a chore or a battle, and it just became a natural extension of who I am. And I'm also going to go on record to say that I'm not perfect, to say that I'm still figuring things out, to say that I am still getting to a place where everything feels a little bit more organized and less like organized chaos. But my baseline changed when I decided to look at myself and change it. And like I said, it wasn't an overnight success. It wasn't an overnight thing, but it was definitely a decision that I made that created this bridge of events that brought me to where I am now. And I can say with full confidence that I am proud of the woman that I am. And coincidentally, I just saw an angel number pop up on my screen. Oh my God, I love it. I love my angel numbers, okay? But if you are listening to this today and you are feeling like you want to shift your own self-concept, here is the grounded breakdown to take with you into your weekend. Some little practical takeaways that you can stow away in your pocket whenever you need them. The first takeaway is this: self-concept is dynamic action, not static thinking. It is evidenced and backed up by how you treat yourself, what you tolerate, and how you act when nobody is watching, not just when everybody has their eyes on you. The second takeaway is to notice the mirror. Pay attention to where you feel friction with other people or circumstances, and ask yourself, what underlying assumption am I running here? What underlying assumption am I running about myself? What underlying assumption am I running about other people? What am I holding on to? And what do I need to let go of? And the third takeaway: build self-trust through small habits. You don't change your identity by yelling at yourself in the mirror. You change it by quietly proving to yourself day after day that you are the person that you say you are. By persisting, by being consistent, by persevering even through resistance, and by really showing up as that person who believes that they deserve whatever it is that they desire, who believes that they are worthy of their best life, worthy of success, worthy of all of these things. Okay? So, remember that it doesn't happen overnight, but it does happen with one small decision to start making a change. So, that is where I leave you for today, and I really hope that you enjoyed today's episode. And as we close, I want to say that I am currently taking a break from other social media platforms, but I would love to hear your feedback, and I would love to open up a dialogue with you guys. So if you would like to discuss things on episode topics, feel free to comment on posts in the community tab or even underneath the episodes themselves, and follow me on Gist at elaborations with E, all one word. I'll also have that handle name listed in the episode description for you so that you can look at it and you can find it very easily. And I also want to say, and I've touched on this in the outro of my last episode, that I'm still making edits to my website to change the name and change my pricing and tarot offerings, but it should be up within the next 2 weeks for anyone interested in one-on-one tarot readings, and I am so excited to begin offering those again, and I look forward to connecting with anyone who would like to take a peek into their current energies and how their current thoughts, beliefs, and assumptions are influencing the trajectories of their lives and affecting their manifestation progress. And I will say that readings are always rooted in grounded truth and empathy, so I look forward to reading for any of you listening who are curious about knowing what the cards may tell you. Until next time, take care and have a wonderful weekend. Bye for now.